Bry's Comics.
This is a really interesting video where we're going to get to talk to a subscriber who reached out to me and said, hey, this might be crazy and it's totally a long shot, but my name is Ed and I just bought 5 long boxes for $120 a piece. I have no idea if I overpaid or underpaid. I was wondering if you would be willing to do a FaceTime with me and flip through the boxes, see, what I got, and maybe give me some pointers on selling it, and you can record the whole thing and make a YouTube video about it. And I thought about it and I thought, you know what? I think that would make a really interesting video because I know that there's certainly at least a handful of people that watch my channel that are interested in selling comics themselves. And this could, answer a lot of questions and shed some light on the whole concept and process of getting started with selling comic books. So we're going to talk with Ed, flip through some of his books. Before we get too far into it, don't forget we always have a monthly giveaway here on the YouTube channel. If you subscribe, comment, and like, you're entered to win a free slab. And if you head over to bryscomics.com and sign up for the newsletter, you're entered to win a free slab over there as well. Backed by popular demand, the Bry Box of Mystery, more than halfway sold out, limited to 280 boxes, and they just went live 2 hours ago. These are the grand prizes. We have Amazing Spider-Man number 129, 9.0 with white pages, the first appearance of the Punisher, a $3,300 book. Amazing Spider-Man 300 in a 9.6 signed by Todd McFarlane. First full appearance of Venom, a $1,300 book. Ultimate Comics number 1, the 1 in 15 Pekeli variant. Second Miles Morales, first solo Miles Morales, first Ultimate Prowler and more, a $1,300 book. Ultimate Comics number 1 cover A in a 9.8, $600 book. Secret Wars number 8, 9.8 white pages, $600 plus on that book. And Ultimate Fallout 4 first print 9.6, first appearance of Miles Morales. I recently also did a seller summit with Whatnot where we talked about, the ins and outs of selling. It was a lot of fun. There was another seller there that was from a completely different category, and there was a ton of helpful conversations around selling anything, and specifically comic books in my situation. Those seller summits are a really great resource that I believe you could find somewhere stored on Whatnot's archive. So if you're interested in selling, I suggest that you, seek out those seller summits over on Whatnot and attend any future ones. There's some great information there. So let's go meet Ed and take a look at his books. All right. So we got Ed. Ed, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on today.
Not a problem. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so just to paint the picture for everyone just tuning in, Ed reached out to me the other day and said, hey, I'm just getting into this reselling part of it and I have a crazy idea. Would you be able to do a FaceTime call with me to see some books that I bought and to discuss strategy and some things like that? So I thought it would be a fantastic video idea. So just to paint the picture a little bit for everyone, you bought these long boxes at $120 per long box. And there's a lot more where this came from, right? Is that right?
Yeah, 100 total.
So there's 100 total long boxes. And your question is essentially, how much should you pay?
How much do I pay? What I'm, getting into here.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that I would say, is to begin with the end in mind, right? And so one thing when taking on an endeavor like this is thinking about, how are you going to sell the books? And so that was my question to you. So what is your plan? So you have local shows. You're going to try to do what?
What shows we have? We have at least 1 to 2 a month I can get involved with. That are pretty inexpensive. I mean, one of them's $25 for a 10-foot table. The other one's like $50 to $75 for a 10-foot table. They're single-day shows, real quick, in and out, so it's not eating up a bunch of time. And then, of course, I'm looking at starting YouTube, and then trying to get on Whatnot, but they're being a little bit hesitant with the quantity of books I have and the social media platform lack thereof. So
okay, so my first piece of advice, I guess, or way I think I might be able to help with that is if I've had friends that have been denied to Whatnot previously, but then when they use my referral link, which will be in the description of any one of my videos, They have a little bit better luck of getting approved for Whatnot. So if you're having trouble or you've been previously denied, you might need to do it with a new email address, but use my link and apply again. And if you have 5 long boxes, I mean, you're off to the races. You've got, plenty of stuff to get started with on Whatnot. So, and also I'm offering, because I get a kickback when people use that link. So I'm offering an hour of consultation to talk about strategy, and we essentially establish a relationship as sellers, and so I think Whatnot is a little bit more open to giving people a shot when they use a referral link from established sellers. So that's one thing. One of the things to consider is how much time do you have? So and do you enjoy it?
I love the hunt for things. I love the artwork. I have not read a ton of comic books, to be honest. I love the artwork. I'm a cover guy by far. I have very little time in it. This was something that struck me that I just retired probably about 8 months ago, and lack thereof, kind of led me into what do I want to do as far as have fun, enjoy my time, and start doing things. So this is kind of where it led.
Yeah.
It was really fun to go to the shows. I've been to 2 shows already. So there's another one this weekend, and I'm going to go to that as well. So that's really where it all started.
Curious to check back in with you on whether or not you're enjoying it. I don't know, maybe a couple months from now or something. Going to the shows and stuff like that, it's kind of low stress. You sell at the shows. And that's it. If you were to scale up and start doing Whatnot shows and the packing and the shipping and the customer service, I'm curious if you're still going to find it enjoyable in your retirement. It's totally possible that you can. I find it enjoyable. I totally, enjoy the whole process. The packing and shipping is probably the least enjoyable thing, but you can find joy in it. So I'd be curious to see how that develops for you. But it is super rewarding, especially if you pick up that long box for $120 and you turn it into $500 and you're having a good time doing it. Hey, now you've got retirement all planned out. So let's take a look at the boxes and let's talk about prices, and then we'll kind of try to break it down into the whole picture to see if this is something that you want to continue pursuing.
What I did is I took all of this out of this box right here. Just kind of give you a glimpse at it. If you're not getting a good picture, let me know. And you can see there's double covers or double copies of stuff. This is really rough right here. These were out of bags. These are really rough. Again, this one's out of bag.
Yeah.
And it's really rough. The Secrets of the Legends of the Superhero. You have Fantastic Four number 1 right here. This is $3.95, so this is what, 90s issue?
Yeah, Fantastic Four Unlimited number 1.
Yeah, so it's 4 of those. Number 2, number 4, number 5, and then you have some Marvel Action Hour, Fantastic Four, 3, 4. And then you have some older 35-cent Fantastic Four. And X Factor was the majority of the first box. You can take a look. And then had the Mighty Thor, Hercules, the Mighty Thor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so... Yeah, so the Captain America is probably the best bunch out of all that stuff you just showed.
This is all the X Factor that was in the first box. And then it jumped into Captain America. Then it went to Thor. So just pretty much a lot of Thor. All the way back to Marvel Comics presents the Ghost Rider. Marvel Comics presents Wolverine.
Yeah, those are all good. The Thor and the Marvel Comics Presents are all good, run filler type stuff. They're actually Marvel Comics Presents. You said you don't do a lot of reading. Those are actually some really good series to read. I really enjoy the Marvel Comics Presents. So one of the things you're going to need to do is invest in some bags and boards and get those things protected. And you want to make sure you're, really careful with how you handle the books. Even though that's a good one, Daredevil.
Yeah. So that started this run right here, and you can see there's multiples and they're stuck together.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff would be good in sets on whatnot. One of the things that you're going to need to do is familiarize yourself with grading. Are you familiar at all with how to grade comics?
I have a buddy of mine that's really good at it. He's agreed to help me on some of that, but I know what a 7.0 is, an 8.0 is. I wouldn't grade anything in here that way.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna downgrade it because I don't want to have customers upset. I would rather them know they're getting a 5.0 instead of tell them they're getting an 8 and they get a 5 and then they're really upset about it.
Yeah, as long as you have you're able to give stuff a range, I think that's great. I see a lot of sellers on Whatnot just not give any grades, and then they say, no guarantee on grade. You judge for yourself, but it's impossible to judge through the camera. So it's important to at least be able to give a grade range. For those that aren't familiar with how to give a grade range, this book right here, the CGC Guide to Grading Comics, is great for knowing, what's the whole grade range. It's only about $40 or so. And I would use CGC standards because that's what pretty much everybody eventually does if they're worried about grade is get it graded by CGC. So, but yeah, there's some good stuff in there. Some of that Daredevil, you could sell it as is, probably at a bit of a discount because it needs to be, new bags and boards.
Like this one's definitely a 2.
Yeah.
The staples are pulled out on it. It's got rough corners. It's got a mark right there. It's dirty. Dirty. So I wouldn't even think it's a 2.
Yeah, just a reader.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of this is. It looks like there is some really good stuff in here that's clean. I found some newer stuff I wanted to show you over here, which was all Fantastic Four. I didn't get it over in the light, but there's like multiple copies of this, like 6, 7 copies of each one of these.
Can you back out a little bit so we can get the full?
Yeah, let me grab some of these and I'll bring them out. So like that whole box from here all the way back is all Fantastic Four different issues, but all like 5 or 6 of each.
Yeah. So those. Okay. So those you might be able to. You can sell in a set. If you have like 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever the. Right. 385 through 388. You can make a little set, bag and board it, but I don't think there's any. And especially that they haven't been bag and boarded, they're not going to be in the greatest condition. So a bulk box like that, I would just avoid completely if you can. It's going to be really hard to, especially at the price point of $120. I mean, if you could get it for a decent price, but I think you'll have a real hard.
That kind of scared me when I saw that it was not bagged and boarded. It was just this huge run of newer books. I was like, ew.
Yeah, yeah. So it seems like there's some good boxes and then some others that are just going to be a time suck and hard to get your money back out of. It depends on how much time you want to invest in this and what kind of ROI you're good with. I mean, I can say with if you were to sell a full long box in a Whatnot show, I mean, that's going to probably take you, and then if you got to rebag and board and package and ship, I mean, you're probably looking at like at least 10 solid hours to do one long box. So if you were to pay 120 and say you were to sell, I think a reasonable thing to sell it all, if you sell it all individually, put it in sets and everything like that, maybe like 400. So these are just some rough numbers. So if you were to have 280 profit, but then say maybe you have to buy bags and boards and Gemini mailers and it took you 10 hours, you might be looking at like, 15, 20 bucks an hour when it's all said and done for how much you're getting paid for your time. What are you willing to work for? Like how much is a good return of investment for your money? And the bigger thing though is, are you enjoying it? Because if it's just grueling work and you're putting in 10 hours to sell a long box and you're like, ugh, these are garbage books, and you're not really enjoying it, then, I don't think it's worth it. If you're having a good time and you're finding some good stuff and you make a couple $100, then maybe it is worth it. But it just comes down to, how much is your time worth? I think you can find better stuff, and especially for that price point. I mean, you definitely, and this is the thing that, a big barrier to entry for a lot of people is, how do you find inventory,
Right.
And, starting the YouTube channel is going to be a huge one. If you can start a YouTube channel. Where are you located? What state? Dallas, Texas. I don't get a ton of collection calls from Texas.
Yeah, it's slim.
Is
It's
it?
not like New York. It's not like back east, that's for sure.
So yeah, I think all in all, you can make your money back and then some. It's going to be a little bit of work, and I think you can find better stuff. I'm not sure you should pursue this collection that hard. It might be better for somebody who's just buying it to enjoy them, they want to get some run fillers for their, I think a collector would love something like that. They get, the back issue Daredevil runs they want to keep and get rid of the rest. But strictly from a business perspective, it seems like a lot of work for a little money.
Okay, great. Yeah, that was the interest that I had into it, was, collecting out of it. If I can collect out of it and keep a back collection of books, because I don't have a ton of books, this is going to be a good start for me. And I knew doing this little purchase, getting some insight, getting some help from other people, I wasn't going to get hurt.
Yeah. You've only got a little bit into it, and
exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ed, for taking us along on this journey. I really appreciate you coming on the show, and thanks a lot.
You have a great day. Take care. Thank you. I'll keep in touch. I'll let you know.
So if you're in the Dallas, Texas area and you have a small or large, probably a raw book collection that you think Ed would be a good candidate for buying, shoot me an email, brycecomics@gmail.com, link down in the description. Of course, I am always buying as well, but usually mostly graded stuff, unless it's some really high value raw books. That's always, worth it to ship as well. I'm still paying about 60% of fair market value for slabs based on recent sales. And once again, contact info down in the description. So anyways, that's it for this video. Just some helpful tips and talking to a new seller. And I hope that, somebody found something helpful out of this video. If you have any other questions or any other ideas that you think would be helpful to be addressed, please leave a comment down below. Don't forget, we have that monthly giveaway. If you subscribe, comment, and like this video, you're entered to win that. And if you head over to brycecomics.com and sign up for the newsletter, you're entered to win a free slab each and every month. And it's also where you get first access to new collections and new inventory when it comes through the shop. Use code COLLECT10 for 10% off all in-stock items. Thanks as always for sticking with me to the end of the video. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bryce Comics.